Yeah, we're back. I just had to save that so I didn't lose those previous matches. Those were hilarious. That dude needed the workout. Alright. Oh, wait, hold on. Go back. Oh, shit.
Free prayer.
TC Thursday?
TC Thursday.
Location.
We're at East Highland and Career.
We're doing this.
Come on now, let's do it. Hey everybody, hi everybody, welcome, hello, how are you doing today? Good to see you. Welcome to the show. It's Al Sparks Mega Worldwide, and I couldn't be happier that you're here with me. If the software just crashes and I just go off the air, hang tight, because I'll pop back on as best I can. It's been weird. It's been weird a little bit. Things are weird, but we're soldiering through. We're making it through, and we don't have problems on the scale that some of the people on God's green earth currently have problems. So I would like to remind everyone before we get into tonight's programming and the ridiculousness that lays out before us to take a moment to count your blessings, whether they be just the pet on your lap or the person petting your lap, or the view out your window, or the fact that you have drapes to pull closed so you don't have to look out your window. There's always something, some way to look on the bright side of even the darkest thing. And one of the best cases in point, if I may, is the new Republican committee fixation, the committophilia that's going around, where they're like, this is gonna do it. This is the day. Yeah! We finally are in charge. Levers of power. So what we're gonna do is get a bunch of people that have said shit that we've heard before to come out, and we'll ask them questions where they have to say the same shit again. Yeah! Any legislation from that? No! Any of it actionable legally? No! But we're all printing video for us to use in our re-election campaigns next year that will most surely keep us from retaining office. So let's see. I'm just gonna do a needle drop in some of this, because this is, ladies and gentlemen, if I may, is this it? Yeah, here we go. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the committee the hearing on oversight of Justice Department, which is how C-SPAN is putting it. Excuse me, this is the committee to investigate the weaponization of the Department of Justice. It has been weaponized. They put a silencer on the Department of Justice and a fucking laser sight and one of those really long, creepy clips that look really funky when you're trying to put it in, and they put one of those little trigger mechanisms that technically turns it into a machine pistol, but who's counting? And just a brap brap. And this is the part. They made little chapters. See these little stars across the bottom? Somebody lovingly went through and made little chapters about these things. And like here, DOJ and the 2021 school board issue. Here's Rep. Gates' inquiry on revolving door between DOJ. Elliott Williams responds to Gates. Rep. Washington Schultz brings up Benghazi questions. Okay, little things like that. This is, there's a big part right here. This one, the biggest chunk in the whole fucking thing, if you'll notice, from this star to this star, is honestly the big the most fawning movement in the whole thing, because, ladies and gentlemen, nope, wrong person. Hey, there she is. Ladies and gentlemen, if I may, there she is. Miss former Democrat, now current member of an alternative universe where all the X-Men are bad again. I appreciate, by the way, the blonde streak, the white streak. I think as a fashion choice, excellent. I'm for it. By the way, I loved when Paul Stanley did it in 1979, 78. If you don't recall, and you guys aren't, from my side of the tracks musically, Paul Stanley at one point had a big blonde streak in his hair, and she's been ripping him off ever since. I noticed that she didn't get her roots done, though, right before the thing. I think that's a mistake. I think part of the power of this look is how dramatic it is, and you gotta, sorry, you just gotta get a root touch up. This is your big day. And I mean, there's plenty of, definitely plenty of places in the DC area that I'm sure do a fantastic job doing root touch-ups. But yeah, Cher did it in her in her stint with Sonny. That's true. And again, did it in her stint with Gene Simmons. You know what I'm saying? And maybe you don't. Anyways, lady and gentlemen, if I may, because there's only one lady here and a bunch of women. I'm kidding. Here we go. We're gonna skip right past good old Tulsi, because that's a big chunk. How long was she up there? She was in there till she was in there for a good 20 minutes or so. We might double back on it, but this is the part about the Twitter files and the FBI, and this is the part that I would like to remind everybody that besides Matt Taibbi being a misogynistic scumbag asshole who spent, I guess, the only formative sexual years of his entire life in Russia, why is it never another country with these motherfuckers? Why is it never Italy or Indonesia, or I was in South America for 9 years? It's always Russia. They always get this weird opportunity to start a project in Russia, then they get a cozy apartment in New York City and a gig at Rolling Stone, or or someplace where they just get that little, I don't know who's giving them a little spank on the taint, just giving them a little lift. And it always seems to go back that they hung in Russia for a good long way. I'm sure it's coincidence. Anyways, Matt Taibbi, who is the stenographer for a billionaire paranoid who bought Twitter and has been kicking his own ass over it ever since, put Matt and a couple other people in charge of going through select Slack conversations and select emails, mainly selected by him, and not the other part, though, not the corresponding, or the alternating opinions or thoughts in those places per se, and then to put them out as a big dun dun dun. Like, this is Matt Taibbi is the single greatest example of how someone can take a dun 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 and turn it into wah, wah, wah. And if it wasn't so irritatingly pathetic, it'd be hilarious. So I want to hear this little piece. I've seen some of the other stuff from this hearing. We'll go back and look at Chuck Grassley at some point or whatever, because I'm sure he'll spit a tale or two about how his mother used to crochet the original form of Twitter, sitting on her porch while eating venison jerky while kicking the neighbor's cat. But in the meantime, let's look at this little piece right here. Bring these folks in. Nicole Parker, former FBI special. Okay, this woman, by the way, works on Fox Now. She quit the FBI, wrote an op-ed, said the whole thing, it's just become, it's not the place I once served. The people are great, and the mission we had was terrific, and everything we're doing, but I just couldn't do it anymore. It was the most, it was just idiotic, because she just quit so she could be on Fox News. Let's be honest. She was down in Florida. She was shit-talking Biden or something like that. Somebody went, you could probably get a regular gig on Fox. I'll introduce you to Trump, and he'll talk to somebody upstairs if you want. And that's how it happened. Anyway, so she's going to, did she read a statement? I think so. Let's see. Yeah, oversight way. Well, they jump into the question here. They all read their main statements, but here you go. This is, according to whoever made this marker in C-SPAN, the Twitter files and the
Shit.
FBI. Don't forget to like,
Just
subscribe, give a
fun.
thumbs up, support the show. Patreon.com/AlSparks. If you're on Twitch, subscribe. If you're on any other platform, subscribe or follow or whatever. And by the way, we're expanding the Discord. It is now live during the show, which is really cool. For patrons and other folks. YouTube issue got an alert. Okay. Oh yes, because I popped up and then I went away. Is that what it was? Or is it even worse? Do I dare even look? Do I dare even look? Am I on? Am I on? Am I on? Are we here? Is everybody in? Is everybody in? All right, here we go. Wish me luck. Okay, let's see you on the other side.
Consequences that come with voicing their displeasure. These agents keep their heads low. They work hard and they stay off the radar and they count down the days until they can collect their well-deserved pensions.
Oh, it's terrible what they have to go through. These poor FBI agents who, waste their days away tormenting Karens.
For me, distancing myself from egregious mistakes, immoral behavior, politically charged actions taken by a small but destructive.
You might want to, you can pace yourself. I know they said you only have a certain amount of time for your opening statement, but maybe next time go to ChatGPT, have them pare it down a little bit. Enter it in and say, hey, can you make this shorter and less crazy? And it'll go no, and smoke will come out of your computer.
Destructive few FBI employees became exhausting.
Oh my God, I'm so fucking tired of these people, right? I mean, your fellow FBI agents, like toddlers, hello.
Although I was always treated with the highest level of respect in the Miami
fuck is wrong
division,
with
I
you,
no longer
bro?
felt that I was the type of
God damn
agent
it.
that the FBI valued.
Bonehead move.
Why? Because of QAnon threads? If everybody treated you with respect, what?
I began to lose passion for the career I loved.
Yeah, that's not our. It happens to everybody. You know what I mean? It's if only they had a little blue pill for it for everybody else, but it just doesn't work out that way.
And peace came as I reflected on the victims I assisted, the criminals I took off the streets, and I remembered positive performance reviews, awards, and accolades I had been given.
But I decided, fuck those victims and fuck the criminals that I've taken off the street. They deserve to be on the street. Fuck America, because Donald Trump should have won in 2020. So, child pornographers should go free. Set everybody loose that I put in jail. I hate this dump. Da, 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 da.
As I left nothing on the line in my work as a special agent.
No. You left nothing off the table, and you put everything on the line. You're supposed to put everything on the line. If you left nothing off the, left nothing off the line. It's just a very weird way of saying it.
I held out as long as I could, hoping things
Well, thinking about baseball, I've heard good.
would improve, but finally I knew it was time to go. So less than 4 months ago, of my own volition, I made the difficult decision and quietly walked away from the FBI with an exemplary and spotless record.
Okay, how long before we find out she was asked to leave?
I love the FBI I joined, and I have treasured memories working alongside remarkable people. I'm proud to have served with honor as a special agent. And
However, fuck those people and fuck the criminals and victims, because Donald Trump lost
while
2020.
I sincerely pray for the FBI's future success, the FBI's troubles of late were bigger than anything I could change. Going forward, I will continue to serve others in our beloved country while honoring and celebrating the true heroes, both past and present, of the FBI.
Okay, so she's going to write a book about how to avoid perjuring yourself in an FBI interview.
When I was
With a foreword by Donald Trump. Since that time, I've had the pleasure of working with the former president, coaching him on exactly how to say the fifth a bunch of times without having to say the fifth a bunch of times.
invited to participate in this hearing, my initial reaction was to decline their request.
Yes, well, we're all upset about that, but
As there may be others more capable who would do a much better job than me. And
well, I mean, it's a job that need not be done. So I really think the bar is pretty low. I think you're gonna be good. You're good. Don't worry about
why
it.
would I want to subject myself to the stress of testifying?
Why would I want to go through the stress of testifying after all the stuff I went through as an
Take it to
FBI
balance, bro.
agent. Also, what is the... I mean, this dude is straight up crushing on her right now. Ew. If only Jim Jordan had set his eyes upon sexual assault at OSU and stared at it as longingly and with, the desire to understand it at depth as he was doing it Nicole Parker right now.
Putting a target on my back and likely facing public scrutiny.
You left the FBI. She wrote an op-ed about this. She didn't just quit in secret. They wouldn't even fucking know if she wasn't a regular on Fox News.
As I prayed about this invitation,
The Lord visited down upon my head a blessing that it was actually a text from General Michael Flynn. And he said, think of the adrenochrome.
sorry, the thought came to me.
By the way, high pressure situation, I have no problem with her crying right now. But I want everyone to remember Greg Kelly mocking police officers, Capitol police officers who went through Jan 6, who still had PTSD from nearly having their fucking heads caved in, who cried at the hearings, and he's like, this isn't a real cop. These aren't, cops don't act like, I mean, they're just too weak to be cops. I mean, what is this? Like, understand that the Republicans are suddenly gonna be handing out tissues?
To whom much is given, much is required. And I realize that this is not about me.
Then stop crying.
I have been given the opportunity to speak up on behalf of numerous current and former Bureau employees whose...
No, you haven't. You're not presenting a list of people who asked you to speak on their behalf. We are being asked to trust you that other people think the same way you do.
feel similarly, but they do not have a voice.
Yes, they do. They all have a voice. You didn't have a voice. You just wrote an op-ed. The fucking Post printed it or whatever the fuck. Of course they have a voice. They can all quit. They can all resign. If they feel the same way you do, and it's a travesty, and the FBI is lost, then they can resign too. I don't know why you exemplify some sort of personal courage that other FBI agents can't muster in this circumstance.
I am not here today to show favor to any political party.
Now. Truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, ma'am.
I am here to stand for the truth based on my experience at the FBI.
As a QAnon believer who was marginalized and they left the number 17. I was given the locker number 17. They put a Q on, like, people would go like, real quick, I have a Q. I mean question, Nicole. Sorry, Special Agent Parker. And I knew what they meant.
In all humility, I hope to make an impact in creating a stronger agency, which is what Americans deserve.
Thank you, Ms. Parker. Thank you for your service. We'll now proceed under the 5-minute rule with questions. The chair recognizes the gentlelady from New York, Ms. Stefanik.
I want to echo the chairman. Thank you, Ms. Parker, for your extraordinary service and your...
And I just got a text from Greg Kelly calling you a wuss. I wouldn't take it personally, though. He said he reacts poorly to tears with everyone. Whatever. He will be doing a segment on you, though.
courage for being here today. Mr. Jordan.
What courage? Honest to God, it's a committee hearing in the oversight of what she believes and they believe to be the weaponized DOJ. She's got a job on Fox anytime she fucking wants it. What are you talking about? She's not gonna get bomb threats. There is a very strong possibility that some of her former colleagues might at some point go, bullshit, Nicole had problems and this is why she left and blah, blah, blah. And that will show up as, I was attacked for simply being here.
Really, I want to start with you. The Twitter files laid bare for the American people what you
That there was no there.
correctly call unconstitutional, quote, censorship by surrogate.
Unconstitutional censorship by surrogate. No such fucking thing at all.
Matt Taibbi writes, quote, Twitter's contact with the FBI was constant and pervasive as...
During the Trump administration. During the Trump administration.
If it were a subsidiary, do you agree with that assessment?
I do.
Why the fuck would he know? The fuck? What, from reading what Taibbi put forward? Fucking Turley, good lord. I mean, this is effectively a Fox panel. This isn't, they didn't drag like deep reads, experts out of nowhere for this.
The record so far shows a relationship that goes beyond this sort of informal exchange of ideas.
You're correct.
Informal shit. Yeah, FBI agents call up Twitter and go, "Hey, have you ever thought about that fucking edit button? Is that a possibility? Is that gonna happen anytime soon? Get the fuck out of here." Also, from the reporting, either you have something to add on your own that's legit, or you don't. And if you're just going by the reporting, you can't make a legal assessment based on limited reporting, especially as slanted and one-sided as the Taibbi files are.
In fact, isn't it true that leading up to the 2020 election, Twitter had
when Trump was president,
weekly meetings with not just the FBI, with DOJ, with DHS, with DNI, to conduct this unconstitutional censorship by surrogate?
Also, how the fuck would he know? Secondly, no. They did it because there's child pornographers and terrorists and human traffickers trying to use all social media. Don't believe me? Most fentanyl that is bought online by kids comes from fucking Snapchat. Facebook just, quite frankly, does a better job because they've been around longer dealing with this kind of shit, so their meetings were more perfunctory. Twitter, on the other hand, was pretty fucking slapdash about it, and also the main staff there didn't believe, or were either that or were under orders not to talk about how many fake accounts are on there, which was Elon Musk's complaint that somehow evaporated even though the accounts are still there.
We know that because of the Twitter files, correct?
Correct.
No, you don't. You don't know shit from the Twitter files, dumb fuck. You know half of the conversation. Here's what you do know. The Biden administration, the Biden administration didn't exist. The Trump administration insisted on things like Chrissy Teigen's Trump is a pussy-ass bitch line to be censored, which is the White House calling Twitter and saying, take down that tweet, which is, I would say, big government overreach if you're really grasping for some. Meanwhile, the Biden campaign was just that, a campaign. He was not in power. He had no power. The requests coming from them were like, that's a non-consensual nude of my son. Could you take that down, since it, in theory, non-consensual nudes of anyone violate your TOS? Oh yeah, okay. Did they say, can you scrub the whole laptop story? Can you make sure hashtag laptop from hell never tweets or whatever, never trends? No. Rats.
And it was not just meetings, not just censorship of stories like the Hunter
Or hand jobs. It was terrible. Like, they went to this big place and covered themselves in oil. It was disgusting.
Biden laptop story. We also now know that the FBI paid Twitter over $3.4 million of taxpayer funds to censor these stories before the 2020 election. Is that?
No, you don't. And if he says yes, it's just because she's asking him to say yes. The $3.4 million was not to censor these fucking stories. It was because they were having to do extra work around certain legal issues. So like certain, again, human trafficking, drug trafficking, all the real shit that happens in real life all the fucking time, especially as it spiked, as fentanyl spiked under the Trump administration, and it was everywhere. They were like, can you guys look into this? And we'll reimburse you for the extra work you're gonna have to do, because we're not gonna send a staff over there, and you're not gonna give us access, so we'll reimburse you for going through this.
That's correct.
That money was paid, Twitter confirmed that.
Right. We know the money was paid. For what? It's again, who gives a fuck if the money went somewhere? Why it went somewhere is the meaningful question. Did he just agree with her? Or is she lying by omission by allowing for the inference from anybody watching, allowing for the inference therein that everybody could look at this and go, okay, he said yes, that's why that money was spent on.
And the Twitter files are just the tip of the iceberg because...
No, they aren't. They are the remnants of a now melted ice cube.
Because there's so much more.
Yes, there is. There is a lot more. There's especially the part where Twitter, the FBI contacted Twitter and said, hey, can you take that down? And they went, nope. And the minute they did that, the shivs go into the tires of the Twitter files and the engine is filled with sand. The minute Twitter can say no, there is no collusion, there is no control, there is no big tech hand-in-glove FBI control point, because the second they can go, nah, fuck off, about any of this shit, they are not being controlled. The essence of control is that you can't say no. If you say yes to some things because they already fit your terms of service, wait for it. That's expected. That's just somebody making you aware that someone in your shop is shoplifting. They are not forcing you to deny candy bars to people who are trying to fill their pockets with them and run out the fucking store. They are not violating that person's right to a candy bar. Secondly, in the Trump situation, first of all, in an endeavor to directly control Twitter by forcing them through threat of legal obligation and we're going to get rid of Section 230 and we're going to break these big tech things up. Like, that is the threat of legislative action towards these companies if they don't behave and do what you want them to do.
There was a corrupt revolving door at the highest levels between the FBI and Twitter.
Oh, for fuck's sake. Like, besides Baker, who the fuck went to work there? And also, why is that weird? Also, and again, as that was before Trump got kicked off. People have been coming and going from there a long time. And a bunch of those people are still there.
Look no further than Jim Baker.
Right, look no further than the only actual example we have, which was just their legal counsel.
Former general counsel at the FBI who helped unlawfully investigate Donald Trump in the 2016 election.
No, he didn't. He did not unlawfully investigate Donald Trump. If he did, file fucking charges. If it's unlawful, it's illegal. He broke the law. Put up or shut up.
Look at Jim Comey's deputy chief of staff, who became the director of strategy at Twitter. Isn't it?
Yeah, because it's a big coordination job. And?
True, according to the Twitter files, that there were so many FBI officials who then went to work at Twitter that created their own Slack channel and crib sheet for onboarding. The Twitter files confirm that, correct? Are you aware?
Yes, they were a minority there, and they felt weird around all the Google employee types who were sitting in beanbag chairs. Like, are we the only? Can we start a Slack channel for us? The fact that we're the only ones that are here when the job day starts, and the only people wearing ties. I feel alone.
As the American people are aware that, according to.
By the way, anybody know how many people you need to create a Slack channel? 1, you can do it by yourself. It can just be a note-taking app. 2 helps, I suppose. That makes it more of a team. But when 2 people call themselves a team, it sounds like parents dealing with a child that's been playing hooky.
Polling.
What the fuck are the Twitter files? Betrayer. They are a farcical, pitiful attempt at gotcha news that Elon Musk drummed up after buying Twitter in a way to get back at his critics that forced him into buying the fucking thing after he tried to back out. And he hired, thank you, Shadow Woman, for the gifted subs. That's really lovely. Thank you so much. And Taibbi and those guys, the deal was he gives them stuff, and we've looked through this a bunch of times. We've gone over the Twitter files when they come out. And my favorite part of it is all the yeah buts. Remember, I always tell you, when you're reading a news article, the 3rd paragraph, or in the case of like USA Today or an online version, it will be the 5th or the 7th paragraph, because they make them bite-sized when they're online, or in a color mag like a color paper or like USA Today. That paragraph contains the yeah but. That will, in many cases, if it's a bullshit article, you can tell in that paragraph alone because it will directly contradict the assertion made in the headline. That happens all the fucking time. It's embarrassing. By the way, now I would say nearly every time, and regular viewers of the show will back me up on this. Let me know in the chat room if you know that I'm right about this. Is that every time Sean Hannity or Tucker Carlson or Laura Ingraham or any of these other, Greg Kelly or any of these dickheads throw a headline up, if we go find the article, the body of the article, it has nothing to do with the reality that they are portraying. And the clickbait headline is all they're showing because the rest of it goes, yeah, but that was all bullshit, and it also was 10 years ago, and the worst of it happened under Trump. Like, it's again and again and again we've seen this shit. The Twitter files were an attempt to basically wrest control of that kind of journalism to themselves and create these sort of bullshit link tree versions of things. And then everybody who's in the Twitter files could then release it on their Substack and you know, would make a buck off of it after the fact. But they had to release it on Twitter first. That was the deal. And every single one of them, and she's not going to bring it up because she's stupid, but, and I mean that not in the pejorative sense, I mean materially stupid, willfully ignorant, intentionally avoiding information or details that would undermine her argument instantly so that she can make some sort of short-term gain that will eventually bite her in the ass, because everybody knows in the, you know, in the Republican Party there's a massive glass ceiling on any female politician, and they want to keep it that way. But several of the Twitter files ones, like, he couldn't get around, Taibbi couldn't get around the fact that he had, you know, in his old days at Rolling Stone or someplace else, he had always had to write the yeah buts. And about 5 to 7 tweets in on all these fucking things, there's the Biden campaign asked for some things to take down, and the Trump campaign and the White House separately asked for some things to take down, and Twitter told them no, and people uppers at Twitter were talking back and forth about this is bullshit and I'm not gonna do it, and then the FBI said okay, and that was it. So the minute that fucking happens, it's over. It's over. If you cut the strings and it stands on its own, it's not a marionette anymore, motherfucker.
People that were made aware of the Hunter Biden laptop story.
Story. Very important that she says story, because it's a story.
53% would have changed their vote, including 61% of Democrats.
No. Where in the fucking world does anybody? Well, I know he's a pussy-grabbing son of a bitch who's gonna topple Roe v. Wade, and he just put Amy Coney Barrett in there, and she and Kavanaugh in there, and there's a leaked draft of that was a year later, but basically she's come out and spoke at one of these events and said, yeah, we're gonna go after her, don't worry, we'll take care of it. And Ginny Thomas is digging in and becoming a QAnon nut, but no, they were gonna not vote for Biden because of dick pics from his fucking son that happened years ago when the guy was on crack. And how many did she say? Wait a fucking second. How many? Back the fuck up. Hold on.
Correct.
That money was paid, Twitter confirmed that.
There was a corrupt revolving door at the Hummer General Counsel at the FBI. And Jim Comey's deputy chief of staff, Twitter files that there were so many FBI officials.
All right, yeah.
Of the people that were made aware of the Hunter Biden laptop story, 53% would have changed their vote, including 61% of Democrats.
No, there is, think about that for a fucking second. You get a broad group of people, you get 100 Republicans and 100 Democrats, and 63%, more than the total overall, the vast majority of the people in this group of Democrats, I guess, which is of these 200 people, would more of a percentage of Democrats than overall would vote for Trump or not at all. Again, let's just be abundantly clear. These people are still pissed that their October surprise for 2020 shit the bed. That's what this is all about. This is sour grapes about the fact that they tried to they needed another Comey investigation thing. Trump tried to cook it up with Zelensky. Rudy Giuliani tried to drum something up with this fucking Four Seasons total landscaping bullshit. They had the laptop allegedly for like over a year, but they decided not to drop anything to the fucking Post until October. Get the fuck out of here. You failed. It was shit. Nobody was buying it.
This is the definition of election meddling, and it's the definition of election meddling by the FBI on behalf of Democrats, paid for by the U.S. taxpayers.
Well, for once, I would like to say, ladies and gentlemen, congratulations. Your tax dollars at work. Thanks, FBI. I was worried that your budget was getting bloated, but since you did this, I'm very happy. I appreciate it because I like the stuff that Biden has done, and I'm glad that Trump wasn't president so he could allow Vladimir Putin to attack Ukraine without any pushback a year earlier.
It's collusion, it's corruption,
and it's a farce.
It's unconstitutional.
Also, he's the law professor. Shouldn't he be the one saying this stuff? You should go, is this collusion? Yeah, it is. Is it unconstitutional? Yes, I'm a law professor. Yes, it is.
Ms. Parker, I want to go to you next.
Parker, not Parker, but okay.
Next, about your experience at the FBI. Because
I would like to tell you what your experience was at the FBI. Do you get the feeling these people are printing election video for themselves?
this is not just about the Twitter files, which
Well, it couldn't be, because if it was, you'd be done before breakfast, asshole.
Focused on because of the news it made. It's about a.
You mean the news it didn't make? I thought that was the complaint. And aren't they all bitching that nobody's listening to the Twitter files, like Joe Rogan, and everybody's like, nobody's even talking about the Twitter files. Like, I went through all of them. Shut the fuck up.
Systemic rot in the culture and the politicization of the leadership of the.
Politicization. That's difficult. That's politicization. It's a difficult word. If you're gonna put it in the paper, I would practice. Politicization is and my tongue is too big for my mouth. I know of what I speak.
The FBI, and it needs to be rooted out. Let's take a.
Well, we got rid of Nicole Parker. Does that help? She's gone. I guess mission is job one. Every other FBI agent seems to be doing their job well.
Step back. Let's look at the targeting illegally of parents who wanted to stand up for their kids at school board meetings.
Dear God, how do they even know? They were targeted for wanting to? Jesus Christ. Do we have those kind of thought rays? They didn't even wait for them to stand up for their kids. They just they're like, hello, hi, what's going on, FBI? Why are you here?
Shit.
We thought we smelled something. What'd you smell? You thinking? What? I can smell your thoughts. Look at this flashy thing.
On September 29th, 2021, the National School Boards Association sent a letter to Joe Biden equating parents at school board meetings to domestic terrorists.
Yeah, just in general. Yeah, it was the weirdest blanket statement I've ever seen. They're just like, you know what? These fuckers think they're allowed to come into these school board meetings. I don't even know why we have these school board. It says school board meeting. Why is there an audience of fucking parents here? This isn't the goddamn PTA.
And on October.
By the way, that's not at all what they said. Their concern was bomb threats and murder threats from psychos that listen to assholes like this.
Fourth, Attorney General Merrick Garland issued a memorandum to the FBI and U.S. attorneys that the department would use federal enforcement tools to target and prosecute these parents.
Just for wanting stuff. Isn't that weird? It's like the new Christmas law. If you even think about wanting to do something or get something, you're done. They know what you want. They can see inside your brain. The FBI has like a special super high-tech version of that thing a doctor sticks in your ear when you're a kid. Yeah, one of those things. Yeah, and they could look in there and they're like, what do you see? You see a little mini golden statue of Trump in a boat that's sinking, oddly enough. This person's very worried. And, yep, they're planning on, I don't know. No, that's not violence. I think they want to, he wants to have sex with the principal. That's different. Okay, so that's not our jurisdiction. Somebody from Homeland Security will be here with lube.
Do you consider parents as domestic terrorists?
Yes, I do. Parents are domestic terrorists. Yes, I think anybody who identified with the Breakfast Club or Cameron in Ferris Bueller's Day Off thinks that very same thing. Do you? This is a fucking committee hearing in the House of Representatives. Do you think that parents are domestic terrorists? Just a generic.
And
listen to that.
prosecute these parents.
1 minute.
Do you consider parents as domestic terrorists?
Understand the drill.
I don't know if Timothy McVeigh had kids off the top of my head.
Bro.
I'm pretty sure David Koresh had something. The Unabomber didn't have any kids. I know that.
I do
dude.
not consider parents as domestic terrorists. No, I do not.
No.
Wow. Thank you for taking a stand, Miss Parker. I wish some of my my colleagues on the other side of the aisle could say that parents are not here to murder everyone with the PTA for the Weather Underground over here,
And neither do the American people.
Come on, bro.
including FBI agents and everybody in the DOJ. What the fuck are you talking about?
There's more to this story. It goes back
It couldn't possibly be.
further than that initial letter on September 29th.
Really? They didn't just spontaneously decide to write a letter describing all parents as domestic terrorists? Please do go on.
Because the letter didn't happen organically.
No. It was GMOs. It was synthetic. They mixed a cow's DNA with a spider and milked
Alright, look at that.
or a squid and milked ink out of the teats, and then it was just
12 out of
gross. It's all, I don't
12.
even like the amount of
Pretty
like lead
solid.
and monosodium glutamate in it was
Yeah,
disgusting.
some sorts of
It was
master
solicited by the
plan.
White House, by the
Cognac.
Secretary of Education. Essentially,
not?
the Biden administration laid the predicate for what
Oh, right. Because somebody at that organization contacted the White House and said, "These motherfuckers are going to kill us." And they said, "Yeah, you can't talk to us. You got to talk to the FBI and the DOJ. You got to write them a letter." And they went, "Okay." That's like saying this was instigated. This pizza arriving at that door was instigated by the pizza guy going to this door and them going, "That's next door." Yeah, that's the giant conspiracy. That's it. Pizza guy shows up at your door and you're like, "Oh, I didn't order pizza." You're off by a number. That's these guys right here. Yeah, you smell the weed. Yeah, just walk 2 doors down. You believe me, it's going to that house. Yeah, you can trust me. Yeah, I can't. I don't eat. Yeah, I'm on a carb thing, so yeah. But I appreciate it, anyways. And if they give you any shit about being late, come back over here. I'll pay for the pizza. They're good guys.
should use to justify illegally targeting the American people, targeting these parents.
So sad. Have we heard from any of these parents at Gitmo? Has anybody seen them? Have we got? Are they at least sending like letters on, on toilet paper?
Is it proper protocol as a former FBI officer to set that predicate, to manufacture the reasoning to justify opening investigation?
I believe that no
The children are our future. Treat them well and let
one
them
should be
leave.
targeted for free speech, and that violence should never be tolerated under any circumstance, but it should definitely not. No one should be targeted because they want to speak up at a school board meeting.
Yeah, good, great, awesome. Nobody was. So fuck you. Like again.
This was a setup, and it was the setup, and it's
How's this? All right.
the real definition of weaponization of the government against.
All right, guilty. All right, we're done. She declared it. The whole committee's, that's what we're trying to figure out. She found it. Good job. It's written on her notepad the whole time. She could have filed it in this morning. We could all gone home. All right, great work, everybody. Pack it up. We'll see you on Monday. Okay.
The American people. And it's not just this example of
That's not an example. It isn't. Elise Stefanik is a liar and a moron. It's not an example. She is yet to give an example. Any of the things she's calling an example so far have completely failed to actually qualify under the definition of an example.
targeting parents at School Boards Association. It goes back to the opening of Crossfire Hurricane.
What? Okay, so the Obama administration was like, we've got to do something. We got to do something about these parents.
It goes back to the faulty FISA application.
Fuck Carter Page, there were no faulty FISA applications.
It goes back to what we heard on that first panel from Senators Grassley and Johnson.
Did they play the banjo? I missed it. I'm very upset. Their duets are not to be missed, honestly. Well, I'm sitting here wondering why I'm even here in Congress when I'm all big senator from a state like this. And I went to a big elite school like all my redneck cousins and pretend to be a poor man for the idiots in my state.
It goes back to the suppression illegally of the Hunter Biden laptop story paid for by the U.S. taxpayers.
Money well spent. Thanks very much. I consider that a down payment on infrastructure.
This corruption needs to be rooted out, and it's not just about protecting the U.S. Constitution.
It's not at all about protecting the U.S. Constitution, dum-dum.
Is most importantly about protecting the American people from the weaponization of the federal government against them. Yield back.
Bam! You got it? Okay? Do you feel protected? I do. Thank you, Elise Stefanik. The prophylactic against regular, average, everyday parents being labeled domestic terrorists because they want to show up at a school board meeting, and I think that's it. I don't think you even have to want to ask anything. I think you just have to want to show up. You don't even have to speak. You just have to, I wanted to speak, but I never got a chance. So, what happened? Well, some people came down through the ceiling lights, through the glass on ropes, and they were wearing guns, and they had FBI, and they screamed at me, and I think I recognized one of them from Criminal Minds, but I might have been wrong, because I was face down on the floor before. It was all over in a couple of minutes. Still have taser burns.
Well, yeah, lady yields back. The chair now recognizes the ranking member for 5 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Very interesting. As a parent of 5 children, I think having my rights as a parent is a very sacred trust. A very sacred trust. But, Mr. Williams, would you say that having worked as a prosecutor, threats of violence against individuals is something that supersedes an individual simply being a parent?
Of course, Madam Ranking Member, threats of violence are actionable under the law. When they come, prosecutors can investigate, or the FBI or any other investigative agency can investigate them and prosecute as appropriate.
Sure. This one-page DOJ memo that we've made much ado about said...
Much ado about nothing. It's nice. Thank you. Del Stacy Plaskett? I like Stacy, at Stacy Plaskett. Instant follow.
As in its first instance, that the First Amendment protected activity should never be subject to prosecution, and issues of concern to illegal violence and threats of violence that are made to school board officials, most of whom are, surprise, surprise, parents, volunteers who do the unenviable job of trying to direct their children and their communities' activities with regard to education. Job most of us, thankfully, have not had to do. And I'm also troubled, I'm deeply troubled by all...
By the way, she's going to be right on all this stuff, and she's going to say a lot of the stuff that I've been talking about. We love her, great work, blah, blah, blah. We'll take her 5 minutes of questions. By the way, you'll notice that she's asking more questions, just materially, than Stefanik was. Stefanik was just making a statement. Because she's a dum-dum. But also, hold on. Did he jump into what she was saying?
And the honey. I yield back.
I think the gentlelady, I would just point out, we tried the honey. 100 letters we sent the last Congress. We tried the honey.
The last Congress. You're now the chair.
The honey didn't work.
You're now in the majority. You should have tried that first as the chair of this committee, not as the ranking member.
We tried.
You didn't do that.
We tried. I don't know what the honey is. What's the honey? Find out what the honey is. Come on.
Side collaboratively is always going to be a better approach.
Vinegar seems to work better on social media, though, than the honey. I yield back.
Oh, I see. You're gonna You're gonna attract more bees with honey.
Certainly, Congressman. Congress has the authority to issue subpoenas quickly if they wish, but I guess you get more flies with honey than with vinegar, to be cute. And working with the other side collaboratively is always going to be a better approach.
Vinegar seems to work better on social media, though, than the honey.
Truer words. Words of wisdom, Lloyd. Words of
honey. I yield back.
I think the gentlelady, I would just point out, we tried the honey. 100 letters we sent to last Congress. We tried
The last Congress, and now
honey,
the chair,
honey didn't work.
are now in
That's
the
why I said
majority. We
subpoenas.
should have tried that first.
I love that she's just like, he's so out of his element. He's the chair. He could go, reclaiming my time, madam, I will respond to your, that kind of stuff. She's just walking right over him.
As the chair of this committee, not as the ranking member.
We tried.
You
tried
didn't do
with
that
100
as
and some
chairman.
letters.
You didn't.
The chair now recognizes the gentlelady from the state of Wyoming, Miss Hagan.
Oh dear. Ladies and gentlemen, may I introduce to you? Also, hi, you're watching Hal Sparks Mega Worldwide. That was Lee Stefanik, and then a mild slice of sanity following that. And now, I think this is our first since the debate between Liz Cheney and the two nudniks from Wyoming that she ran against, that we're gonna see Harriet Hagman in action. Now, I would like to say right out of the gate, I have no proof that this is not George Santos all dressed up. I cannot promise that in any way, and even if he said it wasn't, I don't think we can believe him.
Ooh,
But I look forward to.
interesting way out of it.
I guess this might be the Whitman sampler of cuckoo that we will get to experience
Whitman
as Harriet
sampler
Hagman,
of cuckoo.
the single representative from the state of Wyoming.
Washington bastard.
But here we go. This is lock in. Oh boy, I don't even know what. Watch her be
again.
incredibly professional all of a sudden. It'll be great. Wouldn't it be wonderful if she just turned on them and went, "Look, I don't think this is reasonable. Obviously, no one went after her." It's like she just totally flipped the fucking script and everybody's like, "Liz Cheney's controlling her."
Thank you, Chairman Jordan. It
You can pronounce it Jordan. I do.
is a privilege to serve on this select subcommittee, and I look forward to the work we have ahead of us.
Well, then get at it.
After over 30 years as a water, natural resource, and constitutional attorney, I have seen firsthand and fought against the weaponization of the federal government against my fellow Wyoming citizens. And
Yes, I think that's what we've all come to know, the great outcry from the people of Wyoming about how little resources they get from the federal government, considering they have NORAD bases and oil and gas fields and like 3 towns. And hold on one second, I have to do this. Yeah, 500 and some odd thousand, 579,000 fucking people in the whole state. Calm the fuck down.
the country at large. Through the testimony of our witnesses today and the points made by my colleagues, it is clear that the culture and mission of the FBI and DOJ has changed in a manner which runs counter to the rights and liberties of the American people.
Oh, so we're just going back to the days of Hoover then? Cool. It's like we've come full circle.
The purpose of government is to secure
the rights and liberties of the American people, the Constitution. I'm gonna hit him with a big chunk of Constitution right out of the gate.
natural rights. Yet the
Well, and a couple of unnatural ones, I would like to say, if I may, because again, we're not here to yuck anybody's yum. We're America.
testimony we have heard and the information received from the whistleblowers and other investigative findings has shown that the FBI's mission has moved from securing those rights to using them as a predicate for investigating and surveilling the American people.
Okay, let's think about that for a second. So the FBI now goes to the Constitution and goes, okay, how can we want to attack these people? Boo, Americans. How can we do it? Well, see all these things that are protected that you can't attack them on? Let's use those. Yeah, How stupid? This stupid.
And weaponizing their government structure against them.
True.
So what you're saying is they're weaponizing the structure of the government. The DOJ and the FBI are being weaponized against this weaponization against this. It's great. It's like the committee's work is just already done.
Mr. Baker, in a Wall Street Journal piece you wrote titled "The FBI Needs a Ray of Courage," you stated that in response to...
Was that a Christopher Ray reference? Like a W-R-A-Y?
Attorney General Garland's memoranda directing the targeting of American parents.
Yes, that was right. With a Jewish space laser, actually. Yeah. I almost got a vasectomy just in case maybe it would get me off the parents all over the country were putting their kids up for adoption.
Shit.
And the only people that would adopt kids were people who had a giant reflective mirrored roof.
Director Ray should respond by highlighting that the FBI won't undertake any investigation based on speech alone.
Why? It's obvious they aren't. Is that how they first, there's so many fucking things. First of all, these motherfuckers hate Miranda. They hate the idea that cops have to tell you what your rights are when you get arrested. That bugs the fuck out of them. But now what they want the FBI to do is fucking basically start their day by Mirandizing the United States about what isn't illegal. Name all the shit that isn't illegal. Then go to work. Okay. When do we go to work? In about 17 years, when we're done reading the list.
It is troubling that statement would even need to be made.
It doesn't need to be made, you dipshit. It doesn't. It's fucking idiotic that anybody... It's stupid that he thought he should write it down. It's stupid that you're reading it. It's fucking idiotic. Good Lord. Oh, thanks, Sasha.
Mr. Baker.
I've had this jacket for a long time. I'm just trying to find more jackets that I have in storage that I can wear on the show that where you can see my hair when it's down. So I literally put this on to see if it fit. Still, and it does. Thanks very much. Even though my shoulders have gotten bigger.
Do you think your advice was heeded by Director Ray?
No, of course not. Have you not seen the smoking piles of parents everywhere? Have you not? It's terrible. It's like War of the Worlds.
In fact, I remember that episode quite clearly. I wrote that article in October, just days after the announcement became public, and I was in touch with high executives at the FBI a day or two after that. They assured me that the FBI would maintain the standard of only investigating those situations where there was violence and not investigating free speech. I have to accept the ranking members of the FBI who told me that. However, my article in the Wall Street Journal still stands. We needed, the FBI needed, the American people needed to hear Director Ray say that publicly.
Oh, for fuck's sake. No, they didn't. It was dumb that you called those guys. I bet those fuckers were insulted. Seriously. Can you imagine fucking calling your old, and this is obviously a bad analogy if you're Jim Jordan. Imagine calling your old place of work and just going, hey, I heard you guys are having an employee night out where you guys are going dancing and stuff like that. And I sure hope you're not gonna rape each other. What? Yeah, I mean, I know you guys are gonna go out and dancing leads to a lot of bad things according to some people. Some people think it leads to illicit sex, prostitution, drugs, and apparently learning to play the guitar. And I just want to make sure you guys aren't gonna. Hello? What kind of a dickhead calls his old place of employment and says something like that?
As other FBI directors have spoke up to previous attorney generals and previous presidents, and he never did.
They didn't have to. Again, what these people want is someone to bat down their conspiracy theory so they don't have to clean up their own fucking mess. Because all right, this is what this is about for these fuckers. This is why they're aggravated as well. Because these motherfuckers said that they were targeting parents just for targeting parents and all this kind of stuff, when in reality, they found themselves, that didn't turn out to be true at all, and they're holding the bag for, with all the other parents going, why would you be upset if they tried to stop? That bitch was making bomb threats. This dude tried to stab a principal. That's what they're talking about. Shouldn't we be able to stop that shit? And now what they want is they want Christopher Wray or Merrick Garland or the president to come out and say that's not it, to get the heat off of them for creating this myth in the first place.
And the American people needed to hear. We wouldn't be.
No, we didn't.
Having this discussion today if he clearly stated. This conversation doesn't need. All right. This is predicated on the idea that this conversation even needs to be had in the first place. It fucking does not. It doesn't. It is literally pointless. This fuck called his old buddies and said, "You guys aren't gonna just arrest parents willy-nilly, are you?" And they went, "Tom, what the fuck's the matter with you? Who the fuck? It's Dave. We talk all the time. What the fuck is wrong with you? Why would you think I would? Of course not. People are doing bomb threats. They're threatening to string people up. They're leaving like hung bodies in effigy on their fucking lawn. That's what we're talking about. What the fuck's wrong with you? Why would you even think that about us, asshole? I just, at least Stefanik won't leave me the fuck alone. So I had to make a phone call or she'll never forgive me. I don't think this. I never would think. I believe you guys. I would never even on my own. But she was asking me to. And so get the fuck out of here. That we will not investigate speech. We'll only investigate violence.
Right. Why the fuck would they ever want to try and prosecute speech just for the fuck of it? They didn't, they wouldn't, it was never even considered. And again, a bomb threat is not speech, it's not protected speech. It isn't. Now, if the Republicans want to make the case that they believe that bomb threats, threats of murder, as long as they're done between Americans, it, is magically legal all of a sudden, then have the fuck at it. Jesus.
We're still waiting for that statement.
No, we're not. No one is waiting for that statement.
Mr. Charlie, from what Mr. Baker just said, we have seen two issues stemming from this abuse and change of priorities within the FBI and DOJ. They are either investigating Americans based upon their constitutionally protected rights, or they are flagging lawful action to which they have political objection.
No. No, this was about death threats. That's it. The letter was written because they were dealing with death threats. They called the White House because they were talking to somebody at the national, at the NEA or something like that, and they called them and said, "Hey, who do we talk to?" And they said, "Well, I can give you Ron Klain's number. And Ron Klain's going to tell you to call the FBI, and you're going to have to write a collective letter to get them to move. It's going to take a lot of people to get them to really focus on this thing, unless you have, because they're going to deal with specific stuff. But if you think it's going to escalate, you got to talk to them and have them look at it, because you're getting, until they act on one of these things, they really can't do anything. But if there's a categorical attempt by a group of people through fucking QAnon threads and Telegram channels to coordinate bomb threats and threats of violence on school boards all over the country, the FBI can be all over that shit, because it's absolutely illegal. What the fuck does this have to do with adult behavior in the world?
In some of your recent writings, you have identified two very important points from the revelation of the FBI Twitter relationship. First, that this relationship is a First Amendment violation, as it constitutes censorship by surrogate or proxy.
No, it doesn't. You know how we know? Yeah, and let me explain to you again what an asshole Jonathan Turley is. The FBI calls and says, "Hey, this violates your terms of service. You might want to look at this." And By the way, that's child porn. By the way, that's human trafficking. By the way, we talk about this. We got a list of stuff we send you all the time, and a couple of things in here are, may seem political, but we've been talking to people, and we know that those are foreign accounts, and you might want to know that because this is a foreign adversary trying to manipulate the electorate through fake accounts on your platform. If you want to look at them and take them down, that'd be great. And Twitter sometimes said yes, sometimes said no. Because it was up to them, because they're a private company. Just like if a police officer said, if you call a police officer to your fucking store because it keeps getting ripped off, and they go, you might want to lock the place when you're not here, and you won't have to call us as much. That is not telling them to shut your business down and lock the doors.
And second, you also are concerned that you don't know what is more menacing, the role the FBI played in Twitter's censorship program.
Menacing. Just big fingers with lines coming out of it, a scowly face. And it's like we're in the Upside Down.
Or its response to the disclosure of that role.
Yes, a menacing response. What? The response where they went, yeah, that was bullshit. Look at the other stuff.
The Constitution is a limited governance document. The First Amendment identified our God-given right to speak freely and imposes restraint that the government shall make no law abridging the freedom of speech.
Yeah, but a lot of things don't qualify as speech. Violent death threats. Also, we don't give the freedom of speech, especially when it comes to our elections and medical information and that kind of stuff, to foreign adversaries, for example. That's pretty natural or whatever. We're not talking about American citizens carrying this stuff, even when it involves a retweet. Secondly, Twitter could go, fuck you, go pound sand, and they did on a bunch of times, so this is worthless.
Mr. Turley, can you explain the implications of the government relying on private industry to circumvent the First Amendment?
Can you, while you're at it, can you explain what it's like if the federal government can force a private company to give accounts to and boost the words of certain users over others? Explain how it is a violation of everyone else on the platform's freedom of speech, that when Trump violates the terms of service, or for that matter, Boebert or MTG does, and they get to stay on the platform when the rest of us fucking plebes would get kicked off. Why don't you explain how that's a violation of our freedom of speech? Because we didn't violate the terms of service of the actual private company that we're posting on.
Thank you for that question. The Supreme Court and lower courts have spent a great deal of time trying to define when a relationship with a private party can cross over to a type of agency relationship. And that also applies on the state level through the 14th Amendment. In cases like Page, for example, you have situations where you have a government official who called an employer to say, I don't like what this person said in a public meeting, and that employee was fired. And the court said, that is government action. That is a violation of the First Amendment. One of the things that this subcommittee has to do.
Excuse me, you just explained why Elon Musk is violating the free speech of people on Twitter because of how he surreptitiously fired people at Twitter when he rolled in because he didn't like what they were saying or their opinions on things, and how they did their job, not that they did their job.
Deal with is that difficult line, and I admit it is difficult.
Not in this case.
But in these Twitter files, there's a very disturbing picture that emerges. You have
yes. That largely comes from the Trump White House.
Regular meetings between the FBI and Twitter. They even offered to give clearances to Twitter officials.
So that they could see the horrible info that they were getting. Look, obviously you're not taking what we're saying seriously. How about we show you the accounts? You guys are tech guys. We'll bring in our tech guys. We'll give you clearance for this, and you guys can look at where these fucking accounts are set up.
You have complaints among Twitter employees that this is overwhelming in terms of the number. And what you really see is how insatiable censorship becomes. That eventually they were doing what appeared to be word searches and just sending all of these postings in for possible action by Twitter. And that included things like jokes and other things that anyone...
Right. Because they're too busy to make the distinction. And also, jokes, I don't know if you know this, Jonathan Turley, are a fantastic backhanded way of giving information to people. It works very well. You can use sarcasm to tell people what you actually want them to do by going, oh, please, don't do that. Nobody likes it when you do that thing. See what I'm saying? And since it's written, and because they're dealing with lots of other shit, and because it's Twitter's fucking company, and they deal with 7 other social media sites on the regular, they send a stack of shit over and let them sort it out. And some of the time they said yes, and some of the time they said no, which is exactly, again, where this whole fucking committee and argument and story and Twitter files and bullshit all dies.
Looking at it would realize that this is not a nefarious Russian operation.
No, you wouldn't. The point, by the way, in flagging those, they could check the account. Some of them were jokes because they were retweeted or carried, but this particular account was hinky because they knew, but they couldn't tell them how they knew. So they're like, maybe look at that one. Maybe look at that account. Why? Just check it out. I mean, use your algorithmic magic and tell me if that looks like a real account to you. A good old-fashioned American account. Joe from Ohio, who oddly has bad grammar and speaks in the exact same as Cyrillic grammar in speak. So to happen in English is not wrong. He loves football and also all American girls, also titties and coffee. And I don't know why, whatever. Anyways, the idea that they would go, yeah, you might want to check that one out. And then they check out these accounts, which, by the way, have no followers and don't follow anybody. But that does not stop you from jumping in threads fucking everywhere. There is, and this is, by the way, part of the deal that I think Elon Musk is trying to remedy without admitting is a problem, which is like how many people you can follow, depends on the height of your account, and by paid accounts or legacy blue accounts, those people will be effectively real accounts, and they can track the money on them, so they'll know if they're really Americans or really from Guatemalans or wherever they say they're the fuck from. But in this case, these tiny little accounts, these fuck nothing accounts, which, by the way, that was one of the things about Taibbi's, I forget which fucking Twitter file it was, because they're all splattered all over the place. But one of them was, these are tiny accounts that no one would even notice, and why would the FBI pick on these tiny little accounts of these little Americans just trying to say their freedom of speech piece? When in reality, these tiny little bullshit accounts, the whole John with 7 numbers after it bullshit accounts with the old eggs. Remember back in the day when Twitter, until you had a picture, there was an egg there, and now it's just that kind of gray outline person, or they pick a random fucking. The high-end ones have those like mid-journey fake people now. You can make up your own. Instead of stealing a picture of somebody that they're gonna go reverse Google and find some dude who's been dead for 12 years, you can just make up a fake person and then that's your icon. But even now, they don't even fucking bother. It's just that gray circle with the tiny little, with the multiple numbers, because they're just creating account after account after account. They're not people expressing themselves. They're just blather accounts. And those accounts don't need to follow anybody and don't need to be followed by anybody to jump in Twitter threads and start shit. All they need is a bio that picks one side of the argument or the other side of the argument, and then they just dive in and go, "You're a fucking warmonger," or on the other side, "Your freedom 2A, freedom of speech shall not be infringed," and they just fucking ping pong back and forth. Some people are running it's almost like sometimes you're like, this seems like a reasonable account. That's because he forgot which one he was typing in and typed his left-wing thing in the right-wing account, or the right-wing thing in the left-wing account. All of a sudden you're like, that seems different from what he usually says. That almost makes him sound organic.
So when we talk about surrogate censorship, we're talking about one of the most serious threats against free speech.
No, we're not.
People always say, well, the First Amendment only applies to the government. The First Amendment is not synonymous with free speech. It deals with one problem of free speech. What we're talking about with surrogate censorship is a much greater problem for...
Yeah, but it's not the government's fucking problem. It's between the customer and the service. Sorry, but if you think Twitter is censoring you, get the fuck off Twitter. Go blather someplace else. Start your own website. If Nick Fuentes can do a fucking show from his goddamn mom's basement, you can find someplace where you can type, you know, bigoted bullshit into the fucking social media winds.
Those of us who value free speech is a defining right of this country.
I appreciate that. And one more point.
Yeah, appreciate what? That was, for the record, I don't know why Turley is on news as a pundit. I mean, I suppose his title is enough to get him, but get him on there. But let's be abundantly clear. What he just said was nonsense. Not, it's too complicated a legal theory for me to understand. It's fucking gibberish. He is talking out of his ass, especially as someone who's, you know, as a constitutional conservative who believes that, you know, corporations are people, and if somebody incorporates and they want to set up a company and they're, I don't know, I'm just spitballing, but they have a company and they're a news corporation, let's say, and random, and they are absolutely not fair and balanced, but they make their tag fair and balanced, and then they trademark it because the trademark doesn't have to be true. They're allowed to do that. So they're allowed to lie to everyone as long as it's understood as a trademark, because the consumer, the person watching, is supposed to be aware enough, or the responsibility, because it's a trademark, is now on them to assume that it's bullshit to start with, and it's a sales pitch like Coke is life, or you deserve a break today, or whatever the fuck, or snap into a Slim Jim. Like, though, it's on the same level as those things.
You know, people always say, well, you know, the First Amendment only applies to the government. The First Amendment is not synonymous with free speech. It deals with one problem of free speech. What we're talking about with surrogate censorship is a much greater problem for those of us who value free speech as a defining right of this country.
Okay, first of all, go tell Ron DeSantis with his Don't Say Gay bill and his book burning and his taking stuff, that, you know, insisting that things be taken out of the AP college courses down there that high school students go through. That's surrogate censorship directly by the governor of that state. Turley is not writing, insofar as I know, scathing articles about Ron DeSantis right now. Secondly, if a company, like I said, can sometimes go, yep, that violates our terms of service, thanks for letting us know, and they broom it off because they decided what the standard is for their space, which everyone has the right to do, because I don't think Turley believes in the speech version of squatters' rights. That because everyone has free speech, that also gives them the right to, like, storm into your living room, stand in the middle of it, and yell racist slurs because of the sanctity of the God-given right of speaking. Literally, what he just said is useless drivel. This is the verbal equivalent of spackle. The kind, though, that's been sitting in the closet, and you should get a new version, you know, or in the garage, and you should get some new spackle, but you've had it for a while, and you're like, oh, I should fix that hole, and you go and you open the spackle up, and it's all crusty and dried out, and you're like, I'll try. No, it's not gonna work, and it falls out, you know, it doesn't stick to the wall. You spread it down the wall, and it goes, don't ask me how I know this. That is that kind of spackle. It's useless.
I appreciate that. And one more point to make, they also paid
Sorry, the gentle lady's time has expired.
I will yield back.
Thank the gentle lady for...
They also paid what?
Gentle ladies.
They also paid for millions of dollars.
I appreciate that. And one more point to make, they also paid
Sorry, the
millions.
gentle ladies.
Oh, they also paid Twitter billions of dollars. Way to get it in under the line, dum-dum. The FBI, you know, last we heard it was $3.2 or $3.4 million. No. Multiple billions, according to the gentle lady from the state of Wyoming. Congratulations, Wyoming. I give you the best among you.
I appreciate that. And one more point to make, they also paid
Sorry, the
Twitter millions of
gentlelady's.
dollars.
There you go. Thanks. Just I didn't get enough lies in. Sorry, I had one more lie. I was under quota. I thought we all got a pool going in the back. That it was like at least Stefanik's ahead of me now. Motherfucker! Can I reclaim my time? Can I say something about like I don't know, adrenochrome, baby sacrifices, Satan at Twitter? Can I? No. Okay. Shit. All right. Well, I yield back the remainder of my time. You have no time remaining.
Come on. Yeah,
this is like this is what this shit's gonna be going forward. This by the way, is Raskin testifying alongside them? Hold on. Yeah, Jamie Raskin is testifying next to everybody. I'm glad they had, like, we'll put somebody down there that's gonna call bullshit on this stuff. Ron Johnson, ladies and gentlemen, he spent 4th of July with Vladimir Putin in meetings where no notes were taken in Russia, and then came back and has never had a problem with anything that Russia does, including Wagner Merc rape squads. He's never, ever since that trip, man, he'll just look right over all the mass graves and minefields and fuck it. The dude is just misunderfucking-stood. By the way, Raskin, for those that don't know, is wearing a headscarf because he is undergoing chemo right now for cancer and still serving and doing his job. He's also wearing a mask because these fuckers are nasty and probably unvaxxed. There's Turley sitting in the back, and here's Tulsi again. Didn't get her roots done. I think that's. I feel like we should chip in or something. Speaking of chipping in, you're watching the House Sparks Mega Worldwide, and I love you for it. That's all. I'm not gonna. Yeah, you know what to do. Okay, here we go. So let's jump into a little bit of this. Do I have time? Yeah. Okay. This is I don't know how much they go back and forth, but that whole segment is like
objection.
She gives a big statement.
Those will be and we'll get those from you, Senator Johnson. We now turn to our former colleague, the former Democrat member from the great state of Hawaii, Congressman.
Yeah, she's a former Democrat, and she's a former member. She's a former Democrat member, but she's also now formerly a Democrat, not a Democrat anymore.
Oh, that'll be
Thank you very much, Chairman Jordan, Ranking Member Plaskett, and members, aloha. Thank you for the opportunity to be here.
And please, if I touch you, I will take your powers.
Speak with you today. Benjamin Franklin said, without freedom of thought, there can be no such thing as wisdom and no such thing as public liberty.
Well, he got laid a lot, so he obviously he was captain of the Sweet Nothings team. Dude had a way with words. He was a cunning linguist.
Without freedom of speech, I love our country and I cherish our God-given freedoms that are enshrined in the Constitution.
That's why today I am sitting in front of a committee, speaking into a microphone that is playing out over C-SPAN, and am basically allowed to say whatever the fuck I want, and no one will shut my mic off. And it doesn't matter.
Like every one of you, I took an oath, both as a soldier and as a member of Congress, to support and defend the Constitution of the United States.
Whoops. Oh, apparently we got edited. Look at that. Am I still online? Did that collapse? What happened there? My goodness. Yes, restore the pages. What was wrong with you, you crazy thing? Hold on. Let's go back to where we were. It's gonna go back to where I was. Nope, I gotta find this. Hold on, I'll jump ahead. Go. Sorry guys. That was odd. Hope I'm still online.
Dude.
So, all right, there we go. It's the Chinese balloons again. Yep, they're trying to attack me.
What this disinformation is.
Oh yeah, Stewart was just like bored as fuck during this whole thing. That was part of the running gag about this.
What the hell?
Boop. We missed a little bit of what she was saying.
For the right
Add a
themselves
sugar,
to have a
huh?
say in their children's education.
They had all the rights they wanted. Shut the fuck up. Nobody was ever threatened for saying they want better for their school. None of them were even threatened for saying, like, bigoted, angry, Trumpy bullshit. It's when they cross the line and threaten to fucking kill people, you dunce.
A draft copy of the Department of Homeland Security Quadrennial Homeland Security Review outlined their intent to target quote-unquote inaccurate information on a whole host of topics.
Well, I guess you got nothing to worry about if your shit is accurate.
Include the origins of COVID, vaccines, U.S. withdrawal from Afghanistan, and U.S. support to Ukraine.
What?
Right,
Oh,
inaccurate
fucking
information
little
about
bangers,
those things.
bro.
So nobody's saying that it is inaccurate that
these
we
fuckers are
withdrew
rad.
from Afghanistan,
Awesome.
that COVID started someplace, and that we support Ukraine.
Their misinformation, disinformation, and malinformation team exists to, quote, counter all types of disinformation.
And that's why she's taking it personally.
Once again, they get to determine what this disinformation is.
No, they don't. That's not how it works at all. The way they do it is they determine if it's disinformation or misinformation, and then they explain to people why they believe that to be so. Because the nice thing about being on the side of the true part of it and trying to explain to people that it is misinformation or disinformation is that you don't just block it out, go, that's disinfo, kick it off there. You go, it's disinfo because the NIH and the CDC have been talking to us about, and this is the best information we have, and these people are just making shit up to try and get Chinese people killed. And maybe later on we'll find out it snuck out of the Wuhan lab and Donald Trump presided over the worst bioweapon attack in American history, and all he did was give Xi a hand job and one third of a phase in trade deal. But
Meta CEO Mark Zuckerberg revealed on the Joe Rogan Experience podcast recently that Facebook limited the exposure of the New York Post Hunter Biden laptop story
because it was an October surprise attempting within 6 weeks of an election to try and manipulate the outcome. All of the details in it had been available for over a year. And yet, for some reason, and I think that reason is that the more you look into it, the more bullshit it is, I don't know why they didn't drop it during the primary.
just weeks ahead of the 2020 election.
Hey, she's on to something. Congratulations, Tulsi Gabbard. You win the big, obvious Dum Dum Award. That's right. What do we have for her, Bob? Nothing? Good. That's what she deserves. Yeah, that's the whole point. Within 6 weeks of the election, everybody's reticent to publish new incendiary bullshit stories because they are an attempt, as many October surprises have been before, to try and manipulate the electorate by putting in a news story that will be incendiary, change voters' minds, but by the time they find out it was all horseshit, the election is over.
Only after talking with the FBI. Twitter took similar action. They recently apologized for doing so, recognizing their decision was wrong.
They're heartbroken. I can't even play with myself anymore. I'm so ashamed.
The cozy relationship between White House officials, the Department of Homeland Security, the FBI, and big tech.
Under Donald Trump. Under Donald Trump.
Is now well documented.
Under Donald Trump. Yeah, that happened while Donald Trump was president.
And results in private companies not restricted by the First Amendment, doing the dirty censorship work of those in government who are not legally allowed.
Look, leave Pornhub out of this. They have enough to deal with.
To do so themselves. The threat big tech monopolies pose to our democracy is real.
Oh,
we don't have a big tech monopoly, fuckhead. We don't. Meta and Twitter are different companies. Meta, you can buy stock in Meta. If they act the fool, you can sell your stock because it's not going anywhere. Ask them. A bunch of people just did. Twitter is owned by one nutcase. Snapchat has a board of directors and you can buy fucking stock in it.
Oh, lordy.
Even Facebook's
Those are
control
heavy
of
little-
Instagram
heavy little
has
header,
firewalls
Jesus.
between it that make it all like you can in the business end of it
Sneaky
you
little-
can apparently
sneaky little,
post in 2 places at once, but only
Really.
like psycho real estate people and personal exercise gurus even use that shit. There is no big tech monopoly. There are multiple companies competing with each other, and I got news for you. First of all, I'm unspoutable. I'm gonna start posting there more. Don't worry about that, it's coming. But on top of that, honest to God, besides on the right wing, there's like 6 different fucking sites all doing the same shit. Like they're all, it's the same posts over and over and over again. But because of what's happening with GPT-4, which is the next version of what created ChatGPT, what they built that off of, the OpenAI structure, I got news for you. Most of these, what Meta is really dealing with and what a lot of these social media networks are dealing with is that at some point, you're just gonna have a post thing on your phone that you use that goes to whatever. You're just saying it into the world, and it can show up on any site, all site, no site, if you want to, and you could deselect things. It'll be like permanent buffer. It'll just feed it out through all the APIs. And that's coming. We're 2 years away from all these companies going, wait. What do you mean you don't have to be a member of the site to post on the site? What the fuck? And then other ones will go, yeah, I just created my own social media network using an AI, and it just takes the people that I like from all these different sites, and I can see what they're saying, and then I can respond to them through those APIs to those different sites, but only to those people. And I don't even have to look at ads. I don't have to look at anything. They're gonna flip the fuck out.
And serious. I've had personal experience with this. After the first Democratic primary presidential debate in 2019, I was the most searched candidate of the night.
Yeah, because people were like, wait, she's still a Democrat? What the fuck?
Unfortunately, and suddenly, my Google Ads account was mysteriously suspended without any notice or explanation. There were no responses to our multiple attempts to resolve whatever problem could have caused this.
Weird. It's strange. It's almost like I've had that happen too, as has everyone with a lot of traffic at any particular point. There's an algorithm that goes, hold on a second. You know how they have a thing in the bank where if you get, if you try to move more than it flags it. Okay, there's an algorithm in all these search engines and all these Google AdSense things that if there's a weird like super spike of Googling or looking for somebody that's off the charts, it will throw a fucking monkey wrench into the algorithm because the algorithm thinks this is bullshit. This does not happen. This is fraud. And it'll usually shut it down for about 24 hours till a human being can come over and fucking look under the hood. And the reason that it happens that way is because it happens so frequently and is, and doesn't need to be resolved because it is fucking fraud that a human being doesn't have to even fucking check it.
But after some time passed,
Yeah, thank you. A currency transaction report. Thank you.
my account was reinstated again with no explanation or apology.
Weird. Nobody at the guys at Geek Squad wouldn't even talk to you. Pitiful. They've always been nice.
But their actions limited my ability to connect with voters who were actively seeking more information about my candidacy.
What? What the shit? Google AdSense doesn't affect whether somebody can look. It's not your. It shouldn't even rip down your fucking ISP for your site. What are you talking about? They're wholly unlinked. By the way, you're putting him and her and that guy over there totally asleep. And this girl's like, if you're gonna sleep, can I just move in front of you? Your Google AdSense account doesn't affect whether people can go to your goddamn website. It doesn't stop them from looking you up. You don't. It's not an attack on your search engine optimization results.
Why I was offering to serve them as President and Commander-in-Chief.
Again, Now, I don't like this is what this is meant to be. This is a lie to people who think that technical things like a Google AdSense or something, which they don't normally use, it's like, oh my God, they fucked with her Google AdSense and people couldn't even see her website. That's terrible. When that's not at all what fucking happened.
This has not only happened to me, it's happened to other candidates running for various offices. Joke.
Right. Because of the spike in interest all the fucking sudden, and the website goes, what the fuck is going on here? No, most people don't decide that they, thank you, Andrea, for letting me know I'm still on, by the way. I just saw that in the Discord. At no point did this affect anybody's ability to find out who the fuck she was. And by the way, after that thing, the very reason why they were looking her up was the exact same reason they were running clips of her in that primary all fucking night and the next day. Yeah, CSL, like, used AdSense for years. This is total bullshit. Exactly. Like, I honest to God, I'm not even sure. I mean, I hope a Democrat who's speaking on there at some point decides to go, who told you that? That's not how shit works at all. I'm surprised you're not saying interwebs, it unironically.
Kent running for Congress in Washington State is one I know personally of.
Yeah, but he probably got kicked off for, saying ivermectin, bleach, and light bulbs.
This happens all the time.
Yes, it does. It's normal. But when it happens to you, suddenly it's a fucking conspiracy.
With these big tech monopolies interfering in our democracy by manipulating search results based on whatever it is that they want the American people to know about a particular candidate.
I'm sorry. So what you're trying to tell me is that they changed the SEO optimization. So if you typed in bitch, her face came up. Is that what they're doing? That if you typed in liar instead of a great Queen song coming up, it would be a picture of Tulsi Gabbard. And then if you typed in who is Tulsi Gabbard, I don't know, it'd be an ad for Joe Biden. Who the fuck?
Or issued.
Look at this guy. Yeah, that's how these computerized things. That's why I have a coal-fired laptop.
This should be concerning to any one of us and all.
It is. It's concerning to me. I'm concerned that I don't understand any of these words, but I have a sneaking suspicion she doesn't either.
All of us. Now, recently, we've learned that with the release of the Twitter files detail.
All right, by the way, stop talking like a fucking cowboy in a Western. And recently, we found out that under the guise of free speech, these varmints have been messing with our town. It's time it comes to an end.
Detailed by Matt Taibbi and others.
Other assholes, just to clarify.
High-level former FBI and CIA and other government officials were behind Hamilton 68 and their list of 644 social media accounts supposedly linked to, quote, Russian influence activities online. Now, Hamilton 68's work was widely cited as fact.
Oh, Taibbi dunks into Hamilton 68 and thinks it was the driving factor between why like news, like local and mid-level cable news all over the fucking place would talk to people from Hamilton and assume that like this is how we knew it was Russian disinfo. There was like dozens of fucking reasons why we knew this. It wasn't like the single source. This is the Taibbi Tulsi right-wing attachment to like the dossier is why there were FISA warrants when it wasn't.
By institutions like Harvard and Stanford, by mainstream news organizations across the board.
Yes, the source of evil in our country. Yes, all the people who've been working for a long time to destroy the place. All the Illuminati deep state establishment in our institutions, in our technical companies, in our government offices who've been running this country into the ground as the population has climbed and affluence has increased in the last 70 years. It's a devious plan. They're fattening us up for slaughter. That's what I'm going with that one.
by members of the House of Representatives and Senate from both political parties, including the head of the Intelligence Committee.
An ironically named fellow.
The problem is,
I don't know what I'm talking about.
it was false. Twitter themselves determined.
Hey, look, he's fanning himself. Oh, it's Tulsi. Wait till that FBI agent gets in here. I'm having the vapors.
That the vast majority of counts that Hamilton 68 targeted on this list of 644 were, quote, neither strongly Russian nor strongly bots.
Well, that settles it. I don't need to watch anymore. Do you guys? They weren't strongly Russian or strongly bots. They were just strongly Russian or strongly bots. Strongly bots. Nice to meet you. How are you? This is my brother, Dangly Bots, and of course Russian Bots over there. He's hiding in the woods. He's looking for a moose and squirrel. I don't know what the fuck that is, but it's all he talks about. Now, Mr. Strongly, you can call me.
End of quote.
They weren't strongly Russian or strongly bots. Shut the fuck up. Really? That's amazing.
Were mostly anti-establishment American voices from across the political spectrum.
Mostly.
I was one of them.
Excuse me. I'm gonna put you in the strongly Russian, possibly bot file. I gotta say, at this point, I'm full on expecting a fembot mask pull.
Former Secretary of State Hillary
Strongly bot. I know. It's gonna fuck with me for weeks.
Clinton accused me, a sitting member of Congress, a soldier, and a candidate running for president, of being, quote, groomed by the Russians.
Fucking tired of you.
Right. That doesn't mean, by the way, that you complied, but by being mad about it, most people would say, "You goddamn right they tried to groom me, and I fought the fuckers off because I'm an American, goddammit." Instead, you get mad at the. It's outrageous that they would even mention that they think that they would impugn my character. As I stand here in my backyard, this is a garden patch. There is no dead body in that ground. Step away from that shovel, sir. This is private property.
Her baseless smear worked as intended.
People looked you up, and even without Google AdSense, they were able to go, "Oh fuck, yeah, it looks like it."
It was something that was repeated over and over, headline after headline, article after article.
And because her Google AdSense was shut down, she couldn't even make money while she sort of didn't push back on it.
Pushed online in every way.
In every way. Well, every way. That seems exhausting. So they were doing late night infomercials, were they? They were doing little banner ads, like they were putting your face on the catheter guy and those airplane ads on Fox News at night. They were every way. I don't know how they had time for anything else.
This had the harmful impact that was intended. I could give you.
Well, I mean, you fuck with the Hillary, you get the horns.
Many examples of interactions that I've had with people throughout that campaign and still today. But I remember one in particular that had an impact just weeks after this.
Oh dear God! Look, guys. I was at. There's a mall in DC near the Pentagon, and it's really kind of cool, and there's a couple of restaurants in there. And it's close to the comedy club I used to do all the time there. And I was walking through there. I did not expect to see her. I made an Aurora joke and then went, "Oh my God, it's Gabbard." And then she, answered like, she realized that I was joking in fluent Russian, and she answered me in fluent Russian, and I said figures in English, and I didn't mean anything by it.
Statement was made. I was in South Carolina at a campaign event.
Oh, it's the time she was helping Lindsey Graham get an intoxicated teenage boy into a cab. Sorry.
when an elderly woman came up to me, and I could tell that she was very disturbed. She came up.
Yes, she was a disturbed lady.
And she put her hands on my shoulders, and she looked into my eyes, her eyes welling up.
Oh, shit.
And she said, I know you're not really a Rooski.
Hands shaking. She said,
her hands on your shoulders were shaking?
Look
were
me
you
in
shaking?
the eyes. I need to know if you are working for Putin. She was serious.
And you went, honestly, you word the question in such a way. Is she okay? Can somebody, I think she fell down. Somebody, do we have a defibrillator, or is there just, would you just put one of those bags on her face? I don't know.
I couldn't believe it.
Why not? You had been seeing headlines on and on everywhere, and a disturbed lady said something to you. I got news for you, asshole. People will say shit like that on the road to everybody like that.
I looked her straight back in the eyes and expressed to her from my heart how much I love this country, so much that I'm willing to die for it.
That was a non-answer.
Which country? Russia? You didn't specify. I was just saying that didn't make her feel any better. Because I guarantee she went, I love this country and I would die for it. Which country? Russia. God damn it. I mean, this country, the one I'm in. Shit. Not the one this country, the one you mentioned, but fuck.
More recently,
taking us there?
Same lady. I don't know why I keep going back to South Carolina, but the ribs are fantastic.
U.S. Senator Mitt Romney accused me of treason, a crime that is punishable by death under our laws. I challenged him to back that shit up.
Call Mitt Romney, won't you back that shit up? Back that shit up. Back that shit up. Call Mitt Romney, won't you back that shit up? Back that, and he did actually.
Serious allegation.
Seriously?
Up. With evidence. What was this based on? There was no response, no explanation, no evidence, and certainly no apology.
Well, apparently he's because of his rank in the Senate, I'm guessing he's seen a good deal of intel over the years, and you may have lost the clearance you once had to even see the evidence he has on you, dum-dum.
Now, these accusations are often shrugged off as, well, hey, it's politics.
Mm-hmm. Yes, Russian politics.
People say things about each other all the time.
Oh, God. Wow. Oh, I love her. Oh, and I wouldn't give... I go into the clinic and I say, give me the Tulsi, and it just does not work out at all. I fall asleep in the chair and I wake up with the Santos. It's just not right.
That's right. That may be easy for some of you to say, but
I just want to bite her. It's inappropriate, but I do. I don't know if it's something in the Wyoming water or...
For somebody who wears the uniform, this is serious. And it's serious not only to me, but to my...
Well, I'm sorry, are you with the Space Force now? Wore the uniform, sure. But ease up there, Oliver North. You're dressed like a Bond villain.
Fellow service members and veterans, every one of us making a decision at some point in our lives to raise our right hand, prepared and volunteering to lay our life down for this country.
Shortly.
Right. As did Timothy McVeigh. Just because you took the oath doesn't mean you upheld the oath. And just because you present it like... honest to fucking God, I think she's soft power at best. She's not siphoning secrets and sneaking them to anybody. They wouldn't trust her to do it in the first fucking place. But, I mean, at this point, why don't you just say that Joe Biden took the oath and we should just take take his fucking word for it and just leave him the fuck alone while he does his job. Because that's the argument here. It's called Chinese spy balloon chic. Oh my God, the jacket is literally made out of Chinese spy balloon. Fancy.
What does that mean?
I just thought it was adorable.
reality.
Well, you're in the wrong place to be talking about reality.
It means that before every deployment, in our own hearts, we have to make peace with the possibility that we may not come home.
Yeah. And some people, over the course of their service, get tired of that feeling and decide to turn on their own country. What's your fucking point? If you're acting in a traitorous way towards your own country, you do not get to hide behind the valor of every other soldier that, by the way, is probably still serving, that you served with, and the idea of soldiering in general to cover that's not enough. Also, was she a fucking paratrooper? Well, honest to God, hold on. Hold on. Let's see. Tulsi Gabbard, military service. By the way, everybody, let's see, sir. Okay. In Iraq, Gabbard served at Logistical Support Area Anaconda, completing her tour in 2005. Because of the deployment, she chose not to campaign for re-election to the state legislature. In March 2007, she graduated from the Accelerated Officer Candidate School at the Alabama Military Academy. Probably the most dangerous place she served. I'm kidding. She was in Iraq at the Logistical Support Area Anaconda, doing... And then she was with a... she was part-time with the Hawaii Army National Guard. Hold on, here you go. Civil beat. This is good. Tulsi Gabbard refocusing. There you go. There you go. Is no longer a part-time soldier with the Hawaii Army National Guard. Instead, she's a major in the U.S. Army Reserve at the command post in Silicon Valley. Opted against running for re-election after a failed presidential campaign. Made the transition over the summer with little fanfare. In August, her congressional office issued a press release saying that the 17-year National Guard veteran would be joining a Civil Affairs Reserve unit on deployment to Alaska to work with Alaska Native tribes. Last week, her office issued a press release saying she would go on 4 weeks back to duty with the reserve to train as a Civil Affairs officer. Cool. Thanks for your service. But she's not taking her life in her hands every time she goes to meet with Alaskan tribes as a Civil Affairs officer. Let's see. She was Army Reserve 351st Civil Affairs Command in Mountain View, California. Spokesman for Hawaii, Gabbard's political future. John Hart, the congresswoman who's twice been deployed to the Middle East, has been unafraid to reach for lofty goals. She also recently turned her presidential campaign to a leadership pack. It's a great way to stack some cash. Hi, we're in the loop. I feel like I'm in the loop. Moving from National Guard to the Reserves provides Gabbard with more opportunity for career advancement. Is in charge of the Army Civil Affairs and Psychological Affairs Command. Oh, good. So she's a PSYOP commander. That's good to know. Right? So she's into manipulating large groups of people and civil affairs and psychological operations. Great. Seriously, like I appreciate every service, because the cooks and the people who keep the engines running and the people who swab the decks, like everybody who participates in the military has value because of that. You don't have to be on the front lines to do it. We're grateful for your service. But at the same time, if you sit at a bar talking about yourself like you're a paratrooper when you typed letters, your other soldiers are going to be pissed.
It means writing letters to our loved ones, trying to find the words to express our love and gratitude, knowing that that may be our final goodbye.
All right, again, she's been in the National Guard ever since, and she works with the Alaskan tribes. Like, I don't know what she's saying about the dangers of working with Alaskan tribes. Maybe they're psycho.
It means for those of us who do come home, doing our best every single day to honor the great sacrifices of our brothers and sisters who paid that ultimate price.
Right. As we should all do as civilians as well. You don't have to serve in the military to honor them. But again, you wouldn't steal their valor by claiming you had the same experience that they had.
This is much bigger than me or any one individual.
Well, speak for yourself.
Those who dare to challenge the establishment are targeted.
Oh, there it is. Establishment. Do we have a bingo card? Establishment, deep state. I don't think we're ever going to get Illuminati for the full bingo.
By this powerful conglomerate of government, corporate media, and big tech, weaponizing.
Did Jimmy Dore write this for you?
All that they have against the people for their.
Weaponizing all that they have against the people. I got news for you, dumb fuck. If they weaponized all that they have against the people, there would be 150 people in the continental United States living like kings as robots brought them peeled grapes.
Own selfish gain. It has a dangerous chilling effect on free speech, and it sends a very powerful message.
Has it? I'm sorry. Everybody, check with me. Chat room, I want you to think back to the last, I don't know, 24 hours. Is there anything that people feel like they can't say somewhere online? And if the site will leave it up because they're fucking gross and they'll allow somebody to say something awful, does the government come to them and tell them that's wrong speech and make them take it down? And does the entire lack of that happening make you think twice about saying something you think is true out loud any fucking where? I'm dead serious. Who the shit is curtailing speech right now anywhere online? Twitter is a fucking hellscape of bigotry and violence. Look, all right. I don't even know how I show this without getting my shit kicked offline. Well, here you go. This is a great example. I'm just going straight to Twitter trends. Peeing. Peeing is trending in the United States, ladies and gentlemen. Peeing and boom. Apparently, America is potty training. It's pee-pee and boom-boom. Did you do a big boom-boom? Who did big business? Or did you go pee-pee? Did you go onesies or twosies? Peeing is trending in the United States. And if I click on that right now... By the way, peeing, boom, Jack Smith, Lion Biden, Tulsi Gabbard, Jay-Z, SpaceX, Kelly Clarkson, Hollywood Video, Netherlands, Penny, J-Hope in the Box, and Pennsylvania are all trending. I got, like, shit, I can't even click on it while I'm on screen without a concern that, hold on. Oh, this is about Elon Musk? Hold on. This is this is a thing that's on. I don't know why this is making peeing trend, but we'll find out in a second. On Tuesday, Musk gathered a group of engineers and advisors into a room at Twitter's headquarters looking for answers. Why are his engagement numbers tanking? Because he artificially shoved his fat ass into everybody's feed, and everybody figured they could just block him or dump him or mute him. That's why. People got tired of hearing his shit being forced to. I did. Anybody who's still on Twitter went, ugh, Musk, eventually. It's not like you can't find his shit later if somebody goes, oh, he said this and you should see it. I'll go look it up. I don't need to fucking follow it. What kind of, like, bizarre monarchical nonsense, like tech monarch nonsense is this? This is ridiculous, he said, according to the multiple sources with direct knowledge of the meeting. I have more than 100 million followers. And I'm only getting tens of thousands of impressions. Well, no. A lot of people have an impression of you, and it's not good. One of the company's two remaining principal engineers offered a possible explanation from us, declining reach. Just under a year after the Tesla CEO made a surprise offer to buy Twitter for $44 million, public interest in his antics is waning.
the hell? Oh, did it all get dropped? Oh, shit.
Yeah, just software crash. Remember when I told you at the beginning of the show it might just go... Yeah, it just went
nuts.
Not quite sure why. Just died. Welcome back. Hi. It's House Sparks Mega Worldwide in chunks. It's the chunky style. It's a live stream so chunky you have to eat it with a fork. No. All right, where was I? Oh yes, we were looking at why peeing was trending on Twitter. No. That's what we were looking at. Oh boy.
No, senor.
Yeah, Musk got mad at me. So the thread initially was right here. Let's see. He said on Tuesday, Musk gathered a group of engineers and advisors into a room at Twitter's headquarters looking for answers. Why are his engagement numbers tanking? This is ridiculous. I have more than 100 million followers. I'm only getting tens of thousands of impressions. One of the company's two remaining principal engineers, it's a billion-dollar company. Two remaining principal engineers offered a possible explanation. Just under a year after the Tesla CEO made it, public interest in his antics is waning. Employees showed Musk internal data regarding engagement with his account. Along with a Google Trends chart, last April they told him Musk was at peak popularity in search rankings, indicating a score of 100. Today, he's got a score of 9. 9. Engineers had previously investigated whether Musk's reach had somehow been artificially restricted, but found no evidence that the algorithm was biased against him. Musk did not take the news well. You're fired. You're fired, Musk told the engineer. Platformer is withholding the engineer's name in light of the harassment Musk has directed at former employees. Wow. Yeah. I don't know why that's under peeing. Let's see. Let's agent entering his Howard Hughes peeing in... I see. Somebody's borrowing my peeing in jars thing. Let's see. I'm trying to find why peeing is trending. This is the best one so far. And a lot of people, it's trending because... Oh, wait, hold on. Jim Jordan is peeing down his leg right now at the ridiculous weaponization committee. Has been exposed as a stupid joke. Oh, this is Raskin saying, yeah. Here you go.
Dear colleagues, your subcommittee could conceivably become part of a proud history. A serious bipartisan oversight stretching from the Teapot Dome investigation to the Boeing investigation, to the Watergate hearings, to the tobacco hearings, to the Select Committee on the January 6th attack. Or you could take oversight down a very dark alley filled with conspiracy theories and disinformation, a place where facts are the enemy and partisan destruction is the overriding goal. Millions of Americans already fear that weaponization is the right name for this special subcommittee. Not because weaponization of the government is its target, but because weaponization of the government is its purpose. What's in a name? Well, everything is here. The odd name of the weaponization subcommittee constitutes a case of pure psychological projection. When former President Donald Trump and his followers accuse of doing something, they're usually telling you exactly what their own plans are.
Right. It's all projection with these folks. Also, just checking. Am I up? Am I up with everything? I've got it. Before I go any further, I don't want to not be on, as it were, because I like to be on. Wish me luck. Okay, so I see something. There might be something I can fix, but it sure as shit is not the bit rate. God damn, that's smoking. I'm doing 6,000 kbips. I don't even understand. Why isn't this in 4K? Shit. Okay, so anyways, back to where we were. Wish me luck. Shit. I do think I'm being attacked, and I'm gonna take it as a point of pride and assume that I am. Let's finish up Tulsi's complaint about people calling her out for exactly what she's doing. I'm not a Russian spy. I'm just doing it for free. I'm not a tool of the Russian government. I just like it.
If you dare to challenge us, we will come after you. The more we allow this to happen, we start looking less and less like a democratic republic and more like a
banana republic.
Banana republic.
Oh my God. Don't say banana republic in front of Jim Jordan. He doesn't even hear it.
Instead of a government ordained to secure these rights, we are now increasingly facing a government determined to take those rights away.
By any means necessary.
George Washington warned, for if men are to be precluded from offering their sentiments on a matter, which
then they should absolutely not use hashtags. And don't put TikTok on your phone, it's malware.
May involve the most serious and alarming consequences that can invite the consideration of mankind, reason is of no use to us. The freedom of speech may be taken away, and dumb and silent we may be led like sheep to slaughter.
Right, we get, I understand. It's not really normal for people to read their mission statement.
We have to stop this insanity.
Bullshit.
Yes. Susan Powder. Rest in peace.
And protect these sacred.
I don't even know if she's dead. I've just seen her.
Freedoms. Vanquish fear and self-censorship that is now pervasive. Every one of us.
Is it though?
Good.
Is it? Peeing is trending. The other day, there was somebody answered one of my posts with some bullshit about like Illuminati level conspiracies, like they, them are coming to, to take over. They're trying to, they control everything, and they're run both sides of the war, and and I was like, who? And they're like, them. Well, who's them specifically? And a bunch of people are like, you don't know? Maybe wake up. Maybe open your eyes. It was all that kind of vagary shit. And then one guy just wrote Juden. Juden. Just right there on Twitter. In an answer to my question about, be more specific, who is running the world and planning to depopulate it and kill everyone? And this dude wrote Juden on Twitter in a line of people, just in a big thread of responses. Not even couching it. No winks, no nods, nothing. Where's this hesitation? What is holding people fucking back? Seriously. And if they can't say it on Twitter, they can sure as fuck go over to Truth Social and be a fucking monster bigot and get a round of applause every time they're gross. So how are their rights being violated? If you can't, it's like weird. It's like if this store won't let me, wreck the bathroom, shit in the sink, and, wash my hands in the toilet and throw a drink at people's face. But the one down the street allows me to do that. So my right to do that entirely is being denied by the store that won't put up with my bullshit.
It's taking action to breathe new life into the open marketplace of ideas that is at the heart of a thriving democracy, encouraging vigorous and substantive debate.
Yeah, that substantive part is the part, because I'm just saying, and I'm no chemist, but I'm guessing that pouring bleach into your lungs and sticking a light bulb up your ass because very powerful light might kill COVID is not, I'm just saying, a substantive and helpful addition to the conversation about how to stop a pandemic. Just
encouraging people to think for themselves so we can draw our own conclusions, where we can disagree without devolving into hate, where we can respect each other as fellow Americans and treat.
And no matter what racial epithets we like to use, or what fake gold coin schemes we want to sucker old people into online, all speech is created equal. What's the difference between the release of the Pentagon Papers and the words you would use to lure a child into a van, right, Tulsi? Yeah. It's all free speech if you think about it. It's the government.
Treat each other with aloha.
Treat each other with aloha. Is that like a loofah? Because, I mean, sometimes it's necessary, but it's never fun.
The work you have.
I would like to treat everyone with a loofah. There are some people I walk around and I'm like, I don't want to have to loofah them, but I probably should.
Before you is critical for all of these reasons. The stakes are high. The consequences, for better or worse, will be long-lasting. For the sake of the American people, our freedom, and the future of this country we love, I pray we can set aside our partisan differences and commit to standing together to defend the constitutional right of every American to live free. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Get the fuck out of here. First of all, Mr. Chairman, if I may, I understood there would be no poetry allowed. Secondly, this carpetbagger coming in here and telling everybody around here that we don't know what liberty is because we think you can just run into anybody's business and shout your business up in everybody else's business is a bunch of, if I do say so, a pile of road apples. Now this, obviously that was a prepared statement, and I was not prepared for this statement, so I'm taken aback ever so slightly, and am eternally clutching my pearls, using my Kegels as I was taught to do in the army. But the important thing is, I think we all agree that this woman looks like she's auditioning for the old Batman series, and she's still mad that she didn't get the part. And this is where Jim Jordan goes, I'm sorry, I didn't see any of that. Can you, this is the plausible deniability chairmanship. My only talent is anything happens right in front of me, I don't see it. Can you, by the way, can you go do that whole thing over again, that whole speech, behind me? That way I can actually hear it. It's just how my head works. I thought for a long time it was my jacket, you know, like wearing a jacket. I was like, maybe the sound is bouncing off my jacket. That didn't turn out to be the case at all. Yeah, I just lost a bet in high school, and they're keeping me to it.
Thank you, Congresswoman Gabbard. We appreciate those fine remarks. Congressman Raskin, we thank you for being here. Senator Johnson, we thank you.
We don't like your remarks, but we thank you for being here.
As well for your testimony. The committee will stand in recess for 5 minutes, more or less, to get...
More or less. Well, I feel like we all learned a lot. I don't know that, like, any of it...
Continuing our coverage of Joe Biden's second State of the Union address.
Hold on. Sorry, I was picking up another clip. And since my system died, I'm not playing with fire tonight since I already went a half hour over. I hope that's okay. Well, I will try and see if I have to patch that hole or if it automatically reconnected me and we were just fine, I hope. But I'd like to remind everybody,
that was
these committees, sure, they're going to be fun for you and I. We're gonna get all riled up and have a good laugh at how ridiculous and absurd and embarrassing they are. But never forget how ridiculous and absurd and embarrassing they are for the people who are participating in them, mainly the people who were desperately hoping that this would be their time in the sun. This committee, this one we just watched, and the previous one, and everyone going forward, are all, each of the chairmans, Comer and Jim Jordan, and everybody, all the Republicans on them, this is the brass ring for them. This is the trophy. This is like their shot. And they are fucking it up gloriously. They are wasting everyone's time. They are more often than not, the closest analogy that I can use, I think, in dealing with these committees as they go forward with them, is the recounts in places like Arizona that Trump and his people insisted on for weeks, if not months. And when they finally did it, what did they find? Biden had actually gotten more votes, that a lot of his votes had been thrown out by some Republican nudnik there, and they ultimately got counted. It was worse for them. Every time they look, what they find is going to fuck their narrative. Every time. And I want to assure you that this is going to happen across the board. It's happening with the Twitter files. It's happening with the fucking Hunter Biden laptop shit, the weaponization of the DOJ, all this stuff. Every time they cover this, what they're going to find out is under Donald Trump, it was a lot worse. And even the places where it was bad, coming from the FBI side, where they don't like what happened, was legal and not at all problematic. It was just their interpretation of it. And it's just sour grapes and a bunch of pissing and moaning. This is going to be fucking glorious. Every single one of these. And I can't wait for just them to print some fucking magic. I think we have a Boebert clip that I missed today that I'm gonna have to get it tomorrow if that's okay. Because there was like a little piece of what she did, but the whole chunk, I gotta think. Like just her at the SOTU, just, that was so nice. Like everybody got all caught up in MTG going, liar, which was easy there, glamour shots. But Lauren Boebert just grinding her teeth, just livid, keeping her fucking trap shut. And the funny thing is that Marge is the one that was on McCarthy's side, and McCarthy told everybody to keep their fucking mouth shut, and she didn't. And Boebert, who was against him and part of the Matt Gaetz clique that was fucking with McCarthy for a week plus, shit, she didn't say a word. She just sat there in stunned, angry silence. It's great. One of the best SOTUs I've seen in ages, and his improv in it, where it's like, well, good. I'm glad we all agree. Social Security's safe. Look at that. Deal done. Was and all of these things everywhere. People get, and I understand it. People get a little nervous when these people step up and they start talking about this shit. Because they're concerned, rightly so, about minorities or people who've been disaffected or people who've been attacked for this shit all along, who are going to have to go through this stupid experience again. You know what I mean? Like you feel bad for those folks. But on a material level, not only is, if everything they wanted to be true was true in this thing, it would still be dead in the water, because they materially don't have a remedy for it that even their own caucus agrees on. It's so good. It's just, and secondly, those people get a little nervous about that, and I'm just here to tell you, breathe deep and relax. Like literally, when these committees happen, get some fucking popcorn, because it'll be full of drama and mean words and stupid shit, and you'll have people like Turley talking out of their ass like they're Ace Ventura. But at the end of the committee hearing, nothing. What the fuck was at the end of that whole thing today? What was it? Tulsi Gabbard bitching about her AdSense account? Are you fucking kidding me? Harriet Hegman saying that the FBI gave billions of dollars to Twitter? Please. and the reality is that Trump thought that Obama was acting like a king and writing unconstitutional executive orders and just willy-nilly, didn't even look at him, just fuck them, says I, and that they would automatically implement them, and then they were nearly impossible to tear down, and not realizing that the White House counsel and their legal team and fucking Senate Democrats and House Democrats and the leadership and Nancy Pelosi and Schumer and those folks would sit around with Obama when he was trying to do this and go, okay, how do we get this? If we can't get it as a law, what do we do as an EO that doesn't stop you guys from implementing a law later on? And we'll work out the beats of it, and we'll push this as far as we can with the limitations that are here, and let's do that. And even then, some of them went to because of Alito or Scalia or anybody, they got kicked back. But Trump was under the impression, because he'd heard it so many times, that Obama had magical king-like powers with his executive. He just writes shit and poof, there it is. And then when he got in there and it wasn't like that at all, he didn't go, wow, maybe I Maybe I believed a bunch of bullshit. Maybe I was suckered into believing this nonsense. No, his reaction was, they're not letting me do it because I'm me. They let Obama do it, and everybody around him's going, no, they actually didn't. You know, you can do it if you do it like this. I don't want to do it like that. Well, that's the only way you can do it. Why? Because it's the Constitution, and you're just one man, and it's not a monarchy. What the fuck are you talking about? And that's where these guys find themselves. They've been telling their own supporters that Democrats run roughshod over everyone's rights, are micromanaging every second of your life, want to control every aspect of every American's life, and they can do it because they have power, and it's very scary, and they're going to fundamentally destroy the United States. They're going to pull the entire country up by its roots and dash it against the rocks. And then they get into power, and they recognize they have the same limitations that Democrats had. And the problem is their supporters aren't going to listen to them say that. The supporters aren't going to go, wait, I thought you guys were going to do some shit. Like, well, we can only do so much. Well, the Democrats did a bunch of shit. Well, no, actually they didn't. We were just bullshitting you. What? Yeah, we just told you that they were, you know, shoving stuff through. They actually, there's a whole process, you know. But the omnibus, nobody even read it. No, everybody actually read it. We have to read it because the committee heads have to sign off on it, and then there's a motion to carry, and then at some point they have to redress the agreement put forth by the speaker, and then there's a couple of steps we have to go through for basically everything. And so during that time, your staff, I mean, I didn't read it, but staff reads it, you know, and that kind of stuff, because you can't not read it if it's there. But I got to tell you, I didn't have time to read it. And I was busy doing other shit. I was tweeting. So, yeah, we can't actually... They didn't do what we said they did, and we can't do what we said we would. So, that's all I got. Why are you screaming? What? Security? That's where they are right now. They have overpromised, and there is no fucking way they can help but do anything but under-deliver. That said, I love you guys. See you tomorrow. Hal Sparks mornings, Mega Worldwide, 9 a.m. Pacific time, 2 hours live stream. It's a good time. I'm trying to arrange a guest for the second hour. I don't think it can happen, but I'm trying. I'm still trying. I'm always trying. Very trying. And then the afternoon show. And then, of course, the Saturday show. I'm on here. We'll keep knocking these things. We're playing whack-a-mole. We're not going to let any of this bullshit stand. The grand power of mockery is always with us. So smile, keep your head up once more into the breach, and wait till these infrastructure projects start breaking ground. It's gonna be amazing. Just the wailing, and everybody's gonna hate Marge. It's gonna be so good. I'm so excited. I gotta go pet a cat.
Oh, damn it. Shit. God damn it. No. No room for you. Just got caught slipping. Fuck this guy. Trying to switch it up. No. No. Yeah, he's looking for me to move that pawn so we can steal that. I'll go there. Then I go there. Oh shit. Yeah, because if I move the bishop there, yeah. Just take it. No, move the bishop there.
That's his lightning, no? Johnny? Hey, Hippie didn't come out? Ah, hey. Go. People about to stroll right now. Oh, that's a stroll. What I'm saying? Absolutely.
That's what's up. The whole ass group TikTok is happening. I think this one. Some wholesome ass shit. Some wholesome ass shit. I gotta go. Clash Royale. Shit. Gotta check out my clan. I think there's a... Yeah, it's War Night. They shut War down at awkward fucking times. Yeah, this will be the last match right now. I'm gonna go check on that after this. It says CR is a pain in the ass with respect to... Dude. Fuck off. Fuck off. Yeah, the CR is a pain in the ass with the recording. When recording is the file size, and this is already 2.5 hours. Yeah. I'm definitely gonna have to pause it. Just what I was about to leave it right there. So good. Oh, god damn it. Don't notice. It'd be real cool. Shit, noticed. Yeah, I boned myself right there. That was really dumb. Whoopsie doodle. Split roasted. How's that? Oh, fuck you, dude. Should have taken him. Oh Yeah, that's time, Bosie.